Hey everyone, welcome to another crafting video. I am Dan at Buckethead Studios and today we're going to be painting this. This is a Death Eater mask that I bought from AliExpress. Now AliExpress is one of those sites where you can order from it and you're never quite sure what you're going to get, if it's going to be what you ordered, when it's going to come even. They can take an age to come. My experience was wholly positive. This came and it came from China to the UK in about a couple of weeks, and the quality of this mask is absolutely fantastic. It's solid resin, it doesn't bend, it came with padding and a strap already attached, and it's just a great sculpt to work with. Now what we're going to be doing today is giving this a repaint to get rid of this horrible flesh tone and make it look more like the masks from the Harry Potter movies. That means painting it a lovely metallic colour, then distressing it back. This is going to be a brilliant project, so let's get started. Now I have done some modification to this already. When it came, it had padding on the inside, it had some foam padding. That really didn't fit my face, so I ripped that out and that left a load of sticky residue. I then used some sticky remover to just scrape out all that glue and extra foam, and that's left it really nice and smooth inside. I have left the strap on for now, but I'm going to remove this to make the paint job a little bit easier. So here it is on. As you can see, the sculpt is great and the elastic strap is actually perfect to keep it nice and flush on my face. I can already tell this is going to look and feel amazing when it's done because the sculpt is just so good. Now because I'm in the UK and it is winter and the weather outside is pretty foul, it's usually either too wet or too cold to do anything, including spray painting, and I imagine a lot of you are in a similar situation. You don't have a dedicated station where you can do spray painting and stuff very easily. So for this project I'm going to be using my airbrush and hand painting. I'm going to be using a little extractor to help me extract fumes from the airbrush. Let's have a quick look at those paints that I'm going to use for this project. So today we will be using a black acrylic surface primer, airbrush thinner, airbrush cleaner, Oilclad Aquagloss 2, Molotow liquid chrome, Vallejo Model Air black, Model Air mud brown, a dry rust, Vallejo Pigments dark red ochre, Vallejo Pigments rust, and a standard black acrylic. So here's the mask on the bench. I just thought I'd show you some of that great sculptural detail that is actually on it. For the price, it really is good. I paid about 27 GBP, English pounds, for this. I think if you were going to get the equivalent, you'd easily pay 3 times that for something of this quality. There's the inside there with that padding removed and all nice and clean. First job, I'm going to free off this strap. I think these are just self-tapped like leather rivets, so I'm just going to cut these off and we should be able to just take the strap off, and we'll save that for later. Here's the strap with that self-tapping leather rivet, and we'll just pop in new ones when we need to attach that back on. So there we go, there it is, ready to paint. It's much easier to paint without those straps on. I've already given this a good wash and scrub with some soap and water. That should just help free any contaminants that might be on it. But I'm also going to scuff this with some really fine steel wool, and that should really just prep this surface to take some paint. Now this is my portable airbrush station. It folds up into this little box, but we can unpack it and it gives us a station to paint with a fan drawing air away, and we can feed a funnel out of the window and that gets all the fumes out of here. So I'm just going to set this up and we can get to painting. There we are, and we get quite a nice big area to spray in. It's definitely enough to spray something like this and have all the nasties go in here and get sucked out that way. It may look fancy, but these are about 120 pounds or so, I think. You might be able to get it for less, and my airbrush and compressor setup is about the same, maybe 80 to 100 pounds. So it's a little bit of an investment to get set up with an airbrush station like this, but if you're like me and you really can't paint outside an awful lot, then this is going to be very handy to be able to just have fun with projects such as this one. So for this, I'm actually using a lot of paint that I've never used before, including this one. This is what we're going to be priming everything in black, so this should have great coverage on the mask and just should give us a great base surface to start the rest of that paint job. So I will be wearing a respirator just for safety. I'm going to turn the fan on and the compressor. It's all very noisy, but I'll see you on the other side. Hopefully this black goes down really well. So that is the black layer down. It's gone pretty okay. This is about 10 minutes in and it's dried really quickly. What I'm going to do, although this looks pretty glossy on camera, it really isn't glossy, and to get a nice chrome finish you need this undercoat to be really glossy. So what I'm going to be doing is using Olclad's Aqua Gloss. This is a great sealer for chrome things, but it's also going to be a great thing to turn this primed surface into a nice glossy surface. So I've got the Molto loaded up and ready to go. This stuff is not cheap. This whole refill was about £20, 20 British pounds, so it's not cheap. From what I've seen, this should go on absolutely beautifully and just straight through the airbrush as is. So let's give it a go. Look how shiny that is. Alright, now that you have the basics, let's speed things up a little. First things first was going in with that Vallejo Model Air Black. This was just to add black around the eyes and add general shading to areas that I wanted to, around the eyes, around the nose and mouth, and adding some additional contouring to enhance the features of the mask. As a first pass, this went rather well and I was really happy with how it was going. Next was to fill in all those detail lines with a black wash. I used just that standard black acrylic, weared it down a little bit with some water, and then just went ahead brushing it into all those crevices and then wiping the excess off. I also did it in much the same way with that oxide brown. As you can see, this started to give a lovely surface rust look, and I really concentrated on this around the mouth. I really started building up that rust around the mouth because I imagined you'd be breathing in and out through there, and that's where all the rust would form. I went back to the airbrush and loaded in the black again just to touch up bits that had come free and to also start shading in the back of the mask. I decided I wanted to make the shininess and the front of the mask really pop, so I loaded that black back in and started shading the back side of the mask. This really helped bring the front of the mask forward. As you can see, it's quite subtle, but when you look at it from one side and the other, the difference is quite apparent. Next, it was time to try out the rust pigments. I had not used these before, but these look really fun. I got a dark red and a lighter orange just to simulate that rust effect. I then loaded some thinners into my airbrush and just blasted it off of a brush. As you would imagine, you have to clean the brush between each application, but that's not a problem. And as you can see, guys, look at the effect of this. It looks absolutely brilliant. I was just sure to dab off the excess. I then loaded the second color, and this is when it really started to become alive, and I really loved how this was looking. I did this in a few passes, and yeah, I was just really happy with how it was taking. Everything then got a clear coat of that aqua gloss once more just to seal everything in, and then the final thing was just to add the strap back on. For this it was really easy. I just used those self-tapping leather rivets, and with that it was done, and let's see some of those glamour shots. So there we go, guys. That is the Death Eater mask all done. I am really happy with how it turned out. Those rust pigments in particular worked really well around the mouth, and I'm really happy with how that part turned out. Yeah, I just got to figure out a way to display it now. I do think I will be doing the full costume of this just very slowly, so I'll be slowly building components for this. But until then, yeah, I'm just super happy to add this to my collection. If you like this video, do remember to like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. Who is your favourite Death Eater? I will of course see you in the next prop and costume video, and until then, take care. Bye bye.